Hello, everyone. Another beautiful day at the Courtship Academy. And today, my guest is Elsie Daniel. She called herself the mayoress. Maybe she will tell us why she called herself the mayoress. She is a writer and an author of several books that she has published. And she's also a certified Christian counselor. So we are happy to have her here, and you may feel free, Elsie, to tell us more about yourself, maybe some things that you may want us to know that I have not said. So she's here to talk to us about what I wish I knew before marriage. So there may be some things that she felt if she had known it, they would have helped her better in marriage. So she's going to share some of this with us. So have your notepad and be ready to take notes and note the things, because it may be applicable to you and you will find it helpful eventually when you get into marriage. So Elsie, you're welcome.
Thank you, Christine. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. First off, you got my name wrong. It's a common mistake. It's Elsie Dennis.
Oh, Dennis. Okay. Elsie
Before my
Dennis.
husband will come after you, Elsie.
I beg, make you no come.
Okay. You're right. I'm a writer. I'm an author. I'm a writing coach. I train. I also do small business training, especially startups, based on my experiences over the years. But I'm here in my capacity as a counselor, as a marriage counselor, as a Christian counselor. So I'm going to be talking from the angle of a Christian, because that's what I know. I'm going to be talking from the angle of somebody who bases her life and her beliefs on the Bible. And incidentally, I have found that a lot of things which are morally right in this world, the whole essence of morality, I find that most of it is built on biblical principles. So really, you can't go wrong. And in our training, as in our work as marriage counselors, we counsel anybody and everybody. It doesn't matter what your religion is. So you may be a Buddhist, you may be someone who doesn't even believe there is God. You could be a Muslim, anything. When you come to us, we counsel you. It's not a church-based thing, as it were, but we use the same principles. We use the principles of the Bible because it works so long as it is applied. So, Christine, you want me to talk about what I wish I knew before marriage?
Yes.
Yeah. And before I start, I just want to say to everyone in this Courtship Academy that you are all very blessed. Some people will say lucky. I say you really are very blessed, because foundation is very important. And if you have a proper foundation for your marriage, which is what this Courtship Academy will give you, then the chances of succeeding are higher. You know, Christine, I say to people that we often will go to school for 12, 16, 20, sometimes 20 something years before we start working. Okay. And then we expect that we'll just wake up one day and get married and we'll get everything right. It doesn't work.
I said the same thing, though. It doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work like that. You must learn some things. So what are the things I wish I knew before I got married? I was telling Christine just before the session started, I got married quite late. I was 29 years old when I got married. In my time, that was late. That was late because people usually married at 20, 22, 23.
Exactly.
I remember my mom telling me when I was 24 that I was too old and I would not find a husband anymore. You know, so for us then, 29 was quite old. I was working, I was doing well, I had a well-established career, and I actually believed that I knew everything. As at that time, I grew up in the church. So, I mean, I knew the church, but I wasn't born again. I didn't have a personal relationship with God. But at the same time, there were a lot of things I knew already about marriage, about relationships. But when I got married, I was shocked at how ignorant I was about the whole institution of marriage. I mean, like, it was like, what is all this one? So I'm going to try to pick them up one by one to make it easier for you. One of the first things I wish I knew before I got married is what the institution of marriage is itself. I wish I knew before I got married that marriage is a covenant and not a contract. It is a covenant. And in a covenant, you don't have rights. Okay, in a contract, Christine, you are a lawyer, so correct me if you're wrong, if I'm wrong. In a contract, it says, if you do this, I will do this. Okay, so it's based on give and take, if you like. If you sweep the house, then I wash the dishes.
Yeah,
that's a contract. So my washing the dishes is based on you sweeping the house.
Yes.
But in a covenant, it's not like that. In a covenant, I die to self. So what I feel is my right does not matter. It is what is your right that is important. Yeah. These are some of the things I didn't know when I got married, and they were a shock to me. And if you know, for instance, that you are in a covenant, you don't wait for the other person to do his part before you do your own. And then it is no longer, it is no longer a question of, 50-50. I hear people say, marriage is 50-50. Marriage is 50-50.
I recently talked about that marriage is not a 50-50 preposition.
It is not at all. Yes. And it is not 70-30. The man does 70% or the woman does 100%.
No,
it is 100-100. Right. So it is a question of the man, you bring in your 100, the woman, you bring in your 100. Everybody doing their 100, and it becomes 100. So it's 100 plus 100 giving 100. Okay. Yes. I didn't know this, and it was a bit of a struggle for me because society has its voices which appear in your marriage, and it was like, isn't this what a man is supposed to do? Isn't this what a woman is supposed to do, based on what society says, not based on the knowledge that it is a covenant. Now, I was lucky that I got saved. I got born again about 3 months before my marriage. Okay, well, we had already done some part of the marriage and all of that. So, but it was very close. So I came in as a new believer. So whenever I faced challenges, I ran to the Bible and I was like, why is this thing like this? Why is this thing happening? But that was one of the first things I wish I knew, that marriage is a covenant. It is a 100-100. You give your 100, the man gives his 100. Yes. Another thing that I wish I knew is the importance of communication in marriage. I wish I knew before I got married that the man cannot read your mind. He can't read my mind. I must be the one to tell him, this is what I want, this is what I need. I used to be a very shy person. So I was used to keeping my thoughts to myself. And I expected that my husband would understand what it is that I want automatically. But again, it doesn't work like that. The man is not a wizard. He's not a witch. He's not a mind reader. So communication is something that I wish I knew more of. I wish I knew how important it is to communicate. Sometimes you see people who are very close and they say, these people, they are so close, they are always talking. So it's as if when people are close, they talk. But that's not the truth. The truth is people get close because they talk. They don't talk because they are close.
Exactly. So I like that.
Yes. It's the talking that brings people close. It's not closeness that makes them talk. As a matter of fact, if you put two people in a house and they never speak to themselves, after a while, they will not be close, no matter how close they were at the beginning. Whereas if you put two strangers together and they are talking all the time, before you know it, they get closer and closer. So I wish I knew that before I got married. It would have saved me a lot of grief, would have saved my husband a lot of grief, a lot of carrying face up and down, just being upset, being angry, and wishing the man knew that, how can he do that? Why isn't he attending to this need? Why isn't it's because you are not communicating. It doesn't know what you want. It doesn't know what
I like that one very well. People are close because they talk. They don't talk because they are close.
Exactly. It seems like the same thing, but it isn't, you know.
Exactly.
So that's something I didn't know. The man is not a mind reader, the woman is not a mind reader. So you must talk. You must talk. Exactly. You must communicate. And then in communicating, I wish I knew how important it is, the words we use, the way we speak to the other person. The Bible says that let your words be seasoned, let your words be gracious, seasoned with salt. And I always say it's because you might have to eat those words yourself. So you better make them sweet. When I was growing up, there's something my father always used to say. He used to quote it from the book of Proverbs that he used to say it in my language. So I'll try and paraphrase that. Look, sweet words can break bone, you know, something like that. Yes. Sweet words can break bone. So I wish I knew.
Words turns away wrath.
Soft words turns away wrath, you know.
As the Bible puts it.
So that's my father always used to say that. He would say, Proverbs says, you know, that soft word will break bone, you know, something like that. Yes. And that's it. Knowing how to speak to the other person is important. So knowing that my words have the ability to hurt my husband's feelings and his words have the ability to hurt my feelings, that's something I wish I knew very well before I got married, because then it makes it easy for you to know how to speak, because you are not ending the marriage at that moment of your anger, you know.
Exactly.
There are certain things you want to say. If you don't say them right, when the anger is gone, you know, then you are left with the bad things you have said.
The Bible said that the power of life and death
is in the tongue. Exactly, you know. And then coming to anger, which leads me to the next point, anger. I wish I knew more about how destructive anger can be before I got married. Anger can be very, 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 very destructive. And the thing with anger that I found out, especially in marriage, is that it is so fleeting. It can be so fleeting in marriage. This man annoys you. I've been married for almost 30 years. Okay. And the things that annoyed me in the first year of marriage, the second year, the third, the fourth, even in the 25th year of marriage, even last week, if you ask me now, I can't remember them anymore.
Exactly.
But in that moment, in that moment of the anger, something is pushing you to just give it all, say it all, just, you know. And if you give into that level of anger, you don't have lingering issues which pile up, and if they are not properly handled, which can lead to breakup, which can lead to misunderstanding, which can lead to all kinds of things. So I wish I knew better how to deal with anger when I first got married. There are certain actions that I took earlier as a younger married person that I would not have taken if I understood that, look, this thing called anger is fleeting, it will go. You can be very angry right now. Maybe the man didn't give you as much money as you wanted, or he didn't buy you that jewel, or he didn't take you to the place you wanted to. You wanted him to drive you somewhere, and he said, oh, I'm too tired, I can't drive you there. And then that gets you so worked up, you are so angry. You know what, in a week, you're going to forget that. But if in the midst of that anger, you use insulting words, you call him names, you cuss him out and all, those words are going to remain long after the anger has gone. Okay, so I wish I knew that before I got married. Okay, another thing I wish I knew is roles, you know, defining roles for the husband, the wife. My husband and I were lucky in certain ways, in the sense that we were both very flexible. We didn't have hard and fast rules about, oh, if you don't do this thing, I'll put a gun to your head or something like that. But but at the same time, I wish I knew that there are certain things that are expected of a man, which are social expectations. There are things that the society expects, okay? And there are things expected of the woman that are social expectations. Society says the woman must cook, the man must bring money. This must, there are societal expectations. You don't have to build your home on those expectations, okay?
Exactly.
You know, you don't need to build your home on those expectations. What you do need to do, and which I think in certain ways we did, but we did kind of blindly, is define what is good for you as the couple. Okay, so if what is good for you is for the man to do the cooking, okay, because he's a better cook, and the woman is doing the laundry, or the woman is taking care of the children, or the man is taking care of the children, if that's what keeps your marriage working, please do it. Don't be so hung on roles, on say, oh no, this is the role of the man, and then the man saying, oh, I am the head of this home. You are the head, I'm the neck. So if you are the head and I'm the neck,
without the neck, the head can't move.
Without the neck, the head cannot move now. You know,
exactly.
And then the neck on its own is useless if the head is not there. You know. So this it's a one-in-one relationship, you know. So understanding those roles, understanding that regardless of what society says, this is what works in my home. Okay, this is what is good in my home, and this is how we are going to approach it. Okay, that's one of the things I wish I knew. Like I said, we kind of got it right, but we did it blindly. You know, it would have helped me. Yeah, it would have helped me if I knew exactly that, look, this is it. At the end of the day, okay, and that leads me to my next point. My next point is, it's my husband and I versus the rest of the world. Okay, so
you are a team.
We are a team. I wish I knew the importance of that team when we started out, how strong that team can be. And that team, we're a team against finances, where it is us versus finances, is us versus the way the house looks, is us versus church, is us versus the children, is us versus in-laws. At any point in time, we are a team. We are on the same side, okay? If I knew that before marriage, it would have helped me to know, okay, what should an outsider know? Okay, and then, for instance, if maybe there isn't sufficient money in the home, money is always is usually a major issue in relationships. If there isn't sufficient money, if I know we're a team, I don't blame him. I don't say to the man, why aren't you bringing in enough money? It becomes more a question of, what can we do? Because it's us now. It's us. We are the ones, and this money issue is threatening us. So it's like, what can we do to make more money or to have more money? What do we need to do? We have a business we want to do. Are we going to go take a bank loan? Are we going to go ask my brother or your sister or something? It is us. It's not him. It's not like, oh, he's there and I am here. No. We are a team. If the child is not feeling well, it's not, what are you doing now? What are we doing? Okay. If it's a job, one of us needs to change a job. It is, how will changing this job help us? How will it help us? Are we going to make more money? Are we going to make less? Will it give us more time? What are the pros and the cons? What does it mean for us as a team? Okay, so that's one of the things I wish I knew, that is us against everything else, including our children. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, including our children. So,
some people, immediately the children come, that is all. The team has finished with the husband. It is they and the children that are now the team.
Exactly. I see that all the time. And in my earlier years, I even made that mistake. And that's why you see women say, oh, I am living for the sake of my children, or I'm staying for the sake of my children. No. It's you and your husband on one side, and then the children on the other side, because they will grow up, they will leave you, they will start their own lives. So if you have opposed your husband all your life for the sake of the children, when they leave, now you and I'm their house.
Exactly.
So that's one of the things that I wish I knew, and one of the things that I encourage couples to understand. Then one thing that I really, really, really wish I knew before marriage is how unimportant everything else is compared to your relationship. And I'll use examples. For instance, where you choose to live. I live in Abuja, so you have Metama, you have Garki, you have Nyanya, you have Kubwa, which are not as posh, which are not posh like Metama. Okay.
Yes.
You have houses going for there are even houses going for as much as $200,000. And I'm saying dollars. I'm not,
Wow.
Yeah, in Abuja, you have houses priced in dollars. And then you have
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
You mean the rent or to buy it?
The rent. There are people who pay rent in dollars in Abuja. Yes.
Wow.
Christine, you've been away for too long. You should come back home.
Wow.
So the place where, whether you choose to live in a $200,000 house or you are staying in a 20,000 naira house,
exactly,
is not as important as me and my husband. So I wish I knew that it is my husband and I that make the home, not the place where we are staying.
Exactly.
It's not the furnishing, it's not the furniture, it is not the neighborhood, it is not any of those things. It is the couple that make the home. Okay, knowing that, again, I say again, God has been gracious to us. We got a lot of things right very blindly, but knowing that would have also saved us a lot of grief, because you can live in a bacha, an open shelter by the bus stop, and be happy, and people can be living in a big mansion and be unhappy. Okay, it's a question of how much of a team you people are and how much you know what actually makes up a home. So it is the heart of the man and the woman that make up the home. It is not where they are staying. The same applies to it is not what they are wearing or what they are driving. You can be wearing rags and be happy so long as the heart of the man and the woman are joined together. Okay, so exactly, those are some of the things, again, that I wish I knew as well as I know them now, because now, looking back, I'm like, did we actually quarrel over this, or did we fight over that, or did we have issues over some of those things? Yeah. You say, why is he not doing this, or why is she not doing that? Nah, at the end of the day, they are not important. Okay. Then something I wish I knew before marriage is what career means to a man. Okay, what a man's career means to him. A man is almost defined by what he does. A man needs to do. He needs to be doing something. And when a man has a job, the job for him is almost an identity. Okay, so I wish I knew how serious that thing was to a man. But if you as a woman, you say, oh no, you are my husband. Oh no, I don't want you to be a lawyer. This law that you are doing, you never have time for me. Why don't you change? Why can't you become a businessman? I wish I knew that in doing that, you are trying to remove the man's identity. And it's like you're trying to strip him of who he is. Mm-hmm. So a man must be allowed to define himself by the work that he does. Okay, it's not the place of the wife. It's not my place as a wife to insist that this is what my husband must do, because when I do that, I'm diminishing him as a man. Okay, I can counsel, I can prayerfully advise. Again, we are a team, so we can say, okay, let's discuss this. How is this career affecting us? how is this one not affecting us? What can we do differently? Okay. But for me to put my foot down and insist that no, you are married to me, and if you want to remain married to me, you have to stop practicing law. You have to go and become a full-time pastor, or you have to go and do business, or look at your mates. Look at all your mates, see what they're doing. The man has no mates. Okay.
Yeah.
He has no mates. He is your husband. He is my husband. And if what he's doing brings him satisfaction and it is not adversely affecting the family, then as the wife, I should let him do that and be happy in it. Okay, that's one major thing that I wish I knew. And to give
that also, that point that you have just made also applies to the wife the other way around.
Exactly.
The same way too. Like, yes, because if the wife too, the husband cannot say he wants to change her, because that's more like change. Like, that's who she is. That's what she does. You cannot now say, no, I want you to come and be a full-time housewife. I don't want you to work, and stop her from pursuing what gives her joy in her career.
Exactly, which was where I was going to next. Now, the same thing, the same thing applies to the wife. If you meet your wife as a banker and she enjoys banking, she's doing well as a banker, and then you insist that I want you to come home and look after the children or look after the home. They are paying you 100,000. I'll be giving you 500,000 every month. For her, it is not necessarily about the money, but it is that sense of self-worth. It's being able to dress up everybody and feel like she's contributing something to society. So if you take that away from her, you are taking away her essence too. You know, and so you wonder why she's unhappy, and then you say, I provide everything this woman needs. I bought her 3 cars, I give her money, I opened the supermarket for her. No, that's not what she wants. She wants to be a banker. She wants to go to work by 7 a.m. and come back by 8 p.m. exhausted. Leave her, that's what she wants, you know. Which then brings me to my next and maybe my final point. I wish I knew before marriage that you cannot change anybody. You can't change anybody. Okay, you can influence them. And having lived with you for some time, they could begin to change on their own. The personalities will flow into themselves. Okay, and without you knowing it, especially applying the word of God. The word of God is what actually changes people. You know, things the person can begin to change, the personality can evolve, but you don't go into marriage saying, I'm going to change him or I'm going to change her. Practical example, when we got married, my husband used to smoke. I hated smoking. I didn't want anything. So he wasn't allowed to smoke in the house. He wasn't allowed to smoke anywhere around me. He couldn't smoke in the car and all of that. But I knew he was smoking. Till today, I cannot tell you when he stopped. He stopped on his own. I don't know when he stopped. And he didn't.
And the thing is that you knew he was smoking before you married him.
Yes, I knew I was smoking. And I knew he was smoking, you know. And at that point, I was prepared to accept it. So if I went in thinking, no, when he marries me, he's going to change, he's going to stop smoking. That's grief for me. That's just grief. You know, I'll just be stressing myself because I couldn't talk him into stopping smoking. So I had to accept. All I did was, okay, you know what? Don't smoke in the house because I don't like the smell. Don't smoke in the car because I don't like the smell.
Yeah, but you reach a compromise, but you couldn't stop him.
Exactly. So that was it. And eventually he stopped. I didn't even realize he had stopped. It took me some time before, and I was like, oh, I never see this man smoking. He never smells of cigarette smoke. It looks like I say, oh, I've stopped since. Are you just knowing? You know, so you can't change anybody. You can't. What you see before you marry is what you are getting married to.
Exactly. Okay? That's very important.
Yes. The person you see before, if your boyfriend is a womanizer, better be ready to accept a philandering husband. Don't say when he marries me, he will change. It's because you know, maybe as a Christian woman or as somebody who has been brought up to to see premarital sex as wrong. You say, oh no, it's because I refuse to sleep with him, that's why he's doing that. No, no. When you marry him, he is going to keep those girlfriends. He's going to keep, he's going to keep following this. So be ready that, okay, this marriage I'm entering is me and every other woman that is out there. We are prepared to do that. Okay, so it's understanding the foundation on which you are building your home. Okay, if he has anger issues, don't think that when you get married, it will get easier. Okay?
It will be worse.
It will be worse.
Because you will be irritating him sometimes.
You'll be irritating him, you'll be constantly in his face. Okay, and don't say, after we marry, we're going to get counseling. The time to get the counseling is now.
Is before, exactly.
Yes. If you think your husband needs anger management, please tell him, your boyfriend, tell him that, look, you know what, baby, I think we need to do something so that when we get married, how about we register for an anger management class? How about we register for counseling? Which is why courtship is extremely important. Courtship is very, very important. Courtship is not, let me do quick so I can marry and have sex. Courtship is, let me learn. It's like, let me go to school and learn how to marry and know whether this degree I'm about to acquire, I can get a job with it in the marketplace, so to speak. Okay, so that's what makes courtship very, 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 very important. Okay, so finally, this time, Christine, I really have to run. So finally, the foundation of your marriage is important. It's important that during courtship, I wish I knew this. I did some of it, but again, blindly. It's important that the man and the woman, before you marry, sit down and agree on what kind of home you want, what kind of marriage you want.
Exactly.
What are your goals? I remember before we got married, when we were cutting, my husband drew a picture one day and told me that he's going to build me a 7-bedroom house. You know, I'm still waiting for the house. I know I will get if I don't get it on earth, I'll get it in heaven, you know. But even things as little as that, how many children will you have?
Exactly.
Okay? What kind of work do you want to do? What kind of places would you want to live? So that there are no surprises. Well, there will still be surprises, but to minimize.
But you will know how to tackle them.
Exactly. You say, okay, you know what? We discussed this. We said we're going to live in a 7-bedroom house. So 7-bedroom house hasn't come now. You know what? Let's make
It's like we are losing her. She's frozen. So I hope she will come back.
As a goal or as a, actually, okay.
Elsie?
I think my connection is a bit unstable.
Yes, we lost you for a few seconds there.
For a few seconds, yes, I noticed my connection was unstable. Anyhow, okay. I think that's all we can take right now. These are some of the things I wish I knew. And those are some of the things that now you know. If you're in this courtship academy, now you know. Don't brush them aside, no matter how much in love you are, okay? Because that tingling feeling that you're having now, it gets to a point where the tingling feeling is no longer there. So you have to be sure that the other things that can hold you together are there, okay? Don't just say, oh, I'm marrying him because I love him. Define that love. Know what it means. Attend to some of these practical issues, which will help to strengthen your relationship as you go along. So I think that's all I can take.
Thank you so much. You have really talked a lot. I've written down up to 10 points here. I hope you have taken notes yourself. So we have up to 10 points here. And you really hit the nail on the head. So
thank you.
We are grateful that you agreed to come and spend time with us. And before you go, I'm sure some people here will want to reach out to you, maybe be in contact with you. How would you want them? Can you give us your details, how they can reach you?
Okay, so right now, the easiest way to reach me is via email. My email is elsewright@gmail.com.
Okay.
And that's because I'm taking a break from mainstream social media. I've deleted my Facebook app. You may, if you look for me, you may see me, but you send me messages or anything, you won't find me, because
But that is just for this period. You will eventually be back on. It's like we've lost her again. Hello, Elsie. It's like we've lost her there, but we are glad, Elsie. She really talked about 10 points, understanding marriage, that marriage is not a contract. As I've always said, marriage is never a 50-50 preposition. She talked a lot about that. She talked the importance of communication, which is very good. Without communication, it affects every other area of the marriage, because that is the number one way that you're able to talk with your partner and discuss some issues. So we've lost her, and she was rushing to go for a meeting anyway. So we're happy that we're able to have her here to talk with us for the time that she was here. So go through your points and then go through the workbook. It has some of the points here that she has raised of things that you should be discussing with your partner, so that you get to know your partner well, and then identify the areas you want to work on to make sure that you're the right fit and you're compatible with one another. So until next time that we come again, do have a beautiful day. All right, bye-bye.